Welcome back to Behavioral Finance and FinTech. I'm Andy Kim, your Dr. Finance, and then we are going through the mood, sentiment, and the stock price. And the second video over here, we're going to talk about the effect of air pollution. And then this overall, not just pollution, but the situation that in dangerous situation, like natural disasters, or the situation where you feel like you're dead, almost like, getting killed, you tend to have more disposition effect as an investor. Disposition effect. You get true to your natural instinct. Disposition effect, what is that? You bought a stock, let's say Kakao Bank, for 80,000 won, and unfortunately price plunged to 60,000 won. What should you do? Do loss cut selling, but the thing is you have loss aversion. I told you about this prospect theory. Loss situation, you want to look for more chance. If you hold on to this one, you may have a chance to revive, that the stock price may go up again, and then you will recover your position. And look for that kind of opportunity instead of just realizing the loss, right? And realizing the loss by cashing it, right? Cashing those loss is about 3 times more painful to the situation of getting profit of equivalent amount, right? So that's why you hate to make loss, realize loss. Loss aversion and disposition effect happens. On the other side of the disposition effect is what? Well, let's say the Kakao Bank stock price recovered after a while to 80,000 Korean won, and next day it jumped a little bit to 81,000. What do? Immediately sell it. Why don't you just wait for more positive momentum so that the price may go to 100,000 or something? Your spouse will, blame you. Why did you do that? That's another face of the disposition effect. I told you. It's like a Stalin of your investment life. I told you about it before. Now, that kind of disposition effect is tightly linked to your naturalist instinct. Survival, right? The thing. Here, the haze or the air pollution. Haze does not carry does not have that connotation with the seriousness of this air pollution, which is almost killing me, right? Air pollution in Korea. I'm going to talk about this one and later on, so wait for that. There's a paper by Lee, Masa, Chang, and Chang in JFE, published last year or the year before in JFE, right? Massimo Massa, he is a professor, star professor at INSEAD of Fontainebleau, France, right? And then his students from China. What did they study? They studied individual investors trading of mutual funds, right, in China. How many accounts? 773,000 accounts, and then 200 different cities, right? They had those transaction level data, detailed big data. 200 cities, all right. Continental scale, right? Now what? What they found is that whereas whenever there is a high air pollution in a certain city, and then the individual investors in those cities tend to suffer from more disposition effect. Okay, air pollution incurs severe indirect social cost associated with enhanced cognitive biases. That's what they find. Air pollution. Well, this is the picture. This is Hong Chang of Tsinghua University, a big shot guy in China. The competition rate to go into Tsinghua University is at least 20 times tougher than getting into Seoul National University in Korea. And then, becoming a professor, even in finance over there, like super genius. Has to be super genius over there and super leader over there, okay, in that country, China. And the thing is, he shows this, contrasting pictures of the same building. Clear day and then polluted day, okay? You cannot even see this kind of clear building within like 200 meters away because of the air pollution. This is the degree of air pollution, he said. And then the thing is, what is the effect of this in your investment life? And then on the way, presenting this in a conference in Seoul, Korea, he said, oh, by the way, I know that Korea also has a haze problem. You guys claim that 20% of your haze come from China. Wait a minute. Professor Park Kwang-woo of KAIST said, wait, what do you mean, man? At least 50%, right? At least 50%. For Chinese students, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Don't get emotional, right? It's scientifically, we have to, challenge each other. And then we have to argue, okay? It's not about hatred, but it's about the negotiation, and it's getting to the rational decisions based on science, right? The thing is, so much of a haze, right? Incredible amount is incurred in northern China. You're going to see it later. And that is supposed to flow into Korean Peninsula subsequently. You're going to see it. Over here. And to me, I believe it's more than 50%. Professor Park was more friendly to this guy. I believe it is more than 70% or something. And the thing is, you see here, this is their natural experiment setting they use in this paper. What do they use? Over here, you see the China map. Of course, here's Korea. And then there is a very interesting, unique river that has been dividing north and south of China. What is the name of the river that passes through the middle part of China? That river is called the Huai River, Huaihe. It's different from the Yellow River, Huanghe. No. It's different from the Liangzi River or Liangzi, Changjiang, right? That's different from this one. It's like Huaihe River, okay? Hwesu. This is famous for this Chinese word called Gyulhwawiji, right? Nambukyulji, Namgyulbukji, right? So what is this about? Well, the southern, the part of the land mass of China, the south to this river is very warm, and then the other part is very cold, and the soils are kind of different, but not that much different within these small tight range, I guess. The soil is not that different, but the climate is so much different. And so that what we call tangerine, right? Tangerine is kind of citron, the sweetest one and tastiest one that you grow in the southern part of China. If you transplant it to the place just across the river, and you start to have this kind of citron tangerine, like tangja, right, thing. Not that tasty at all. It's more sour. Gyulhwawiji, right? And if you plant this one, lo and behold, in Jeju Island over here in Korea, right, we have tangerine coming up, very tasty. But if you plant it in Korean Peninsula, which is north, right, to this horizontal line, extrapolated line, then you're going to have tangja over there. Kind of things, right? That's this natural separation line. Now, what are they trying to do with? Well, the China is a communist country. So they have this Huaihe policy in which for decades, right? They said, well, people in this cold area, this is communist country, everybody has to live. So you can burn coal for free. Over there in the southern part, you have to pay for the coal that you have to burn during the winter time. But over here, the country supports you. It's a communist country, right? What happens? With a similar degree of coldness, these guys, they have to pay themselves for the coal. Over there, they can burn it for free. So their burning amount, huge amount. They just burn it infinitely. I mean, I'm not talking about a million people scale. It's about billion people scale, right? They keep burning it, all these things. So that they suffer much more of air pollution in the northern part of China. compared to southern part of China. That's the scientific fact. And this one is already reported in top scientific journal called PNAS or something. So their life expectancy here is shorter than there by 3 years to 2 years difference. Statistically significant. That's the impact of air pollution. Now, China must do something about their this policy. Okay, free coal burning. They are not doing anything. Okay, that's a problem. But this gives a nice testing ground, natural experiment testing ground for Hongjiang, Masa, and Zhangjiang. All right, leave Masa and Zhangjiang. What do they do? Regression discontinuity testing. They compare and contrast those disposition effects of the cities in the northern China versus southern China, especially those cities right next to each other along the river Huaihe. And then the distance is not that much different, but the degree of disposition effect is disproportionately bigger for northern part of China, northern part of the river. Okay, just across the river, you have huge disposition effect. Okay, that's a very interesting finding and natural experiment setting, quite plausible. And then what they also find is that for this northern part of the city, right, their disposition effect disappears, goes away when the westerlies, what is that? 편서풍, strong wind that carries all the dust from the west to the east, so that the dusts are wiped off, right? And then clear sky they have, and then no disposition effect on such days. They have those wind strength and direction big data. So that's why they were able to test those things. Now, that's the end of the paper, but what can we infer as Korean who are sitting right west to China, right? Here's Beijing, and then all these mega cities, Tianjin and all these kind of places. Westerlies. Once you get cleared, who will breathe that, right? That's us, right? So that's what we realized. Oh, over the last couple of decades, more than a couple of decades, ever since the Communist Party was there, right? We've been suffering that kind of things, increasingly more with the economic development of China. Nobody knew it. Nobody told us about it, but the very Chinese researchers gave us the evidence over here. Very interesting one. Okay, and now, so that's why I'm kind of it's triggering a lot of things to think about, right? Diplomatically and then economically, we have to be good neighbors, right? It's nothing to feeling against each other emotionally too much, but we have to be sitting together and then discuss and fairly think about how much we should resolve this issue of neighboring countries, contamination problem, and then suffrage, right? It's choking over here. Somehow we have to resolve this one, but we need some more popular, the awareness of the public right now. The general public of South Korea, they're not aware of it because the journalists are silent, and the government, whether they are right-wing or left-wing, they are just zip their mouth. So that's the situation right now. Anyway, I have to get back to this behavioral finance stuff. Yes. So that's the effect they are reporting over here, air quality index, and then all this kind of disposition effect being reported. Now, this kind of things, right, happen whenever there is a natural disaster or the situation where you feel that you're going to get killed or something, right? So those kind of disposition effects are more salient during this kind of natural disasters and then recessions and boom times and this kind of things. The next one is about the sentiment, sports sentiment. Yes, so wait for that. Thanks for watching it.